Hello, I'm here to discuss the game mode in Titanfall 2 known as Attrition. According to Wikipedia, which as any internet-savvy individual knows is the only reliable source of information, attrition warfare is the military strategy of wearing down the enemy by continual losses in personnel and material. In Titanfall 2, attrition gameplay revolves around murdering various kinds of enemies that have various point values until your team accrues 500 points and the other team says uncle. So, I guess let's get into it. The various enemies you will encounter during attrition gameplay are as follows. Grunts, the weakest and easiest to kill of the roster, are simply underpaid contract soldiers who are trying to feed their families. They typically arrive in drop pods or rappel onto the field via aircraft in groups of 4. Killing a grunt will earn your team 1 point towards victory. While 1 point does not a match victory make, bear in mind that carving a path of carnage through a large number of grunts is relatively easy, and single points do add up in the long run. This allows players who lack the FPS currency known as get good to still help their team toward victory. Spectres are robotic foot soldiers. They are typically just as easy to dispatch and are worth the same number of points as grunts. Use spectres to ramp up your team's point score without the guilt of slaughtering their human counterpart in droves, you monster. Stalkers are spectres, but with a special module installed during manufacturing that increases their annoyance value by about 50%. Be prepared to mag dump these robotic assholes more than seems wholly necessary. Stalkers are worth 1 point as well. This means it might be best to just skip them if you're not in your Titan. Time is of the essence, and you can't afford to sit around going daka daka for 45 seconds for 1 measly point. I hate stalkers. Reapers are the car-sized death robot equivalent of Chad from high school. He will knock you around and push you into the locker, but blowing him up with large-scale battleship-class weaponry always brings a smile to your face. Then again, my high school was a bit weird. Either way, Reapers represent balance on the field. They are the logical step between Stalkers and Titans. They pose a significant threat to anything on the ground, but are also large and common targets being worth 5 points. Rain your emotional baggage upon them from inside your Titan, or, if you're feeling ballsy, go toe-to-toe with one while on the ground. Anti-Titan weaponry is effective, but anti-infantry weapons can also do the trick. Eventually. Don't try to melee them, unless you are simply seeking the sweet release of death. Now, for pilots. That's you, by the way. Pilots are amongst the least common enemies on the field, but it certainly won't seem that way due to their incredible potential for movement. These are controlled by other players, and are significantly more dangerous than any grunt. Bagging one of these will earn your team 5 points, and if you're using the Devotion or Smart Pistol, you will still earn 5 points, plus a bonus dose of salt in the chat. Pilots are capable of using a myriad of tactical abilities that can aid them or hinder you in combat. If you're a fairly new player, it's probably best to just try to stick to grunts and the like for your first few games. Titans are the main attraction. There are a number of chassis to choose from, but ultimately, you can choose whatever you want, because they're all giant death robots, and that's what really matters. Don't let anyone shame you for playing a non-meta Titan. Hopping into your Titan for the first time will make you feel like an indestructible god. Hopping into your Titan every time after that will make you feel afraid of anything smaller than you. Remember that you are now one of the largest targets on the field. You will be feeling the pain if you don't take some cover whenever you can. Killing an enemy Titan will net your team a whopping 10 points, and if the pilot fails to eject or gets terminated, that's another 5 points free. Once you spawn in, run about, murdering underpaid contract soldiers, overqualified giant robot drivers, person-sized robots with guns, person-sized gun-having robots that refuse to die, car-sized robots that were assholes in high school, and very large robots with people in them, but also sometimes without people in them. And also sometimes the people in the robots are not actually people, but robots that used to be people. Those are called simulacrums and are best left to lore-focused channels. At the end of the match, the losing team is given an opportunity to escape the field via a magic teleporting cargo ship, and by the losing team I mean just the pilots. The poor grunts and all the robots are left on the ground, presumably to die horrible deaths. If you manage to escape on the extraction chip after a loss, you are given the same amount of post-game XP as though you had won, and you also obtain a rare commodity known as Survivor's Guilt. If you fail to extract, either because you are slow, or dead, or the ship was blown up, you're only missing out on about 1 merit, so it's not really the end of the world, I guess. Anyway, have fun out there, and remember, if you're doing well using an off-meta weapon, you are somehow trash.